buy in volume to stock up, and of course they did. Okay. Questions about that aspect?
Did DC come under the Volstead Act of Prohibition?
Did.
DC
yes.
was also part.
DC, in fact, Prohibition, DC at that time was governed entirely by Congress. It didn't have, they didn't have home rule. They didn't have their own mayor or elected mayor or city council as they do today. So it was actually Congress voted it in here in advance several months earlier, and it went into effect nationwide. And there were about 200, I'm not sure the exact number, but I want to say about 238 licensed saloons in Washington before Prohibition, and afterward there were about 3,000 speakeasies. So they're losing a lot of revenue there. That says something, doesn't it? Okay. All right. Other questions? Really fascinating chapter in history. There were also a lot of alliances made, which Garrett Peck talks about in his book. Alliances between the wets and or the dries, the temperance people, and other movements, particularly the suffragettes, because the temperance movement folks thought that the women would be a natural audience. In fact, as you know, the Women's Christian Temperance movement, who was founded by working class women, was also a very powerful force in the adoption of the Volstead Act. And it's true that women did tend to, working class women did tend to support temperance because many of their husbands worked at factories and they were paid in cash, and there were saloons between the factories and their homes, and a lot of the money never made it home, and spawned a lot of domestic violence and other things. So the temperance movement, that was a good alliance for them to make, but unfortunately once women got with the suffragettes, but once the suffragettes got the vote, then they kind of tended to lose interest in temperance.